What is going on, good people? And it is now the end of the season, and I will say, yeah, I'm pretty satisfied. Today is currently December the 4th, and the lawn is looking money green right now. I actually cut this on December 2nd, so it's a couple of days later. But I wanted to take you around the lawn, let you see what it's looking like in different areas of it, and kind of talk about how the season went for those areas. And yeah, stick around with me. We're going to take you around on this end of the season lawn tour. All right, let's go. All right, so since we're already here, let's just go ahead and talk about the front yard. You see those single doubles popping. So yeah, man, front yard is looking good. It does have a little bit of tip burn that's in there from the frost, and it has started to lose a little bit of the color, but for the most part, front yard is looking good. We can get down in here and we can kind of see a little bit of the tip burn that's starting to happen from the frost. It's kind of to be expected. Stripes are brought to you by Big League Lawns, but you can see the density that we've got right now. Man, I can't complain about this front yard at all. Everything is looking good. We did go down with about 3 3/4 pounds of N on the front yard, basically the entire yard except for my test plot. So that's kind of where we were at. About 60% of that was put down during the fall time. So only put about 1.5 pounds down on the front yard during the spring summer growing season. This front strip, it has surprised me. I completely neglected it, forgot all about it. I ain't gonna say I forgot about it, but I was kind of waiting until the leaves fell. So once all the leaves and everything were gone, then I came in, and this was a very late seeding. I don't think I seeded this until like the second week of November. And this is what we're looking like. It has come in good. Got a couple little areas right there. That area always seems to struggle. And then the same as over here in this little area here. I think that's a dog pee spot, that's right there. But overall, no complaints on this. It did not look the way that it does before I overseeded it. I did have some disease pressure that came in, and I also tended to neglect it again this year. I promise next year I'm gonna try not to neglect it. And I wasn't on top of my watering, so it did get pretty beat up over the summer. So the process on this one was just a quick comb through with the groundskeeper rake, and then all I did was broadcast seed in there, and then I kind of weaseled that seed in, as I always do, light weaseling in of that seed, and put the water to it. It is cut lower than the rest of the lawn. The rest of the lawn is all at 3 inches. This is actually cut at about 2 inches, little shot in than 2 inches. And it is tall fescue, so I'm cutting that fairly low, and as you see, it still looks amazing. We have the test plot. The test plot was that first area that I planted the Mountain View seed in, which got me in the trajectory of loving Mountain View seed. So y'all know this is what I plant. I've got it in all of my lawns. I've got it in my client lawns. It is a quality seed. So for this year, only thing it got was a power rake. No overseeding. I just ran the sun drove through it, thinned it out because this actually needed to be thinned out. It had gotten to a point where it was too thick for the way that I like lawns, and I was starting to see some disease pressure creep in. It was overcrowding, and it just was not performing to the way that I would like. And I also put it on a different program this year. So I went with a very low end input on this. Hence again, it's my test plot. So during the growing season, I only put down about 3/4 of a pound of N on this. It was a full renovation, 2 years ago? And this year I put it on that low N input program. It was not a fan of it. It just did not have the color. It did not have the vigor of growth. It just did not perform to the way that I would like it to. Coming into the fall, and I got it back on its first. So overall, it got about 2 1/4, about 2 pounds, a little over 2 pounds for the entire year, where most of that actually came during the fall. So it is back to its glory, and it is also back to about the thickness of where I like my lawns to be. This is one of the reasons why I say I do not overseed, or even on renovations, going down at heavy rates, because that is the problem that you will start to run into. When I seed with the lateral spread or spreading type variety of tall fescue seeds, I like to stay at maximum on a bare ground renovation, 8 pounds per thousand. Sometimes I'm down to around 7. And for a overseeding, no more than 5. And I'm typically down around 4 pounds per thousand, because those varieties tiller out, in my experience, much more than your typical tall fescue. So with that additional tillering, you get a more dense turf with less plants. So from my experience, that is why I seed at those lower rates, and it also saves you money. So that's the test plot. It is back to its glory. No issues with it right now, and we'll see how it performs next season. It will not be on the low end input program. All right, let's take it around back, see what we're looking like back there. All right, y'all. Well, we're back here in the backyard, and the backyard is doing what the backyard does. Man, it looks really good right now. Color is still holding. The color is actually holding better than the front right now back here in the back. So this year, didn't have a lot of ups and downs in the backyard. The backyard really stayed consistent, and the entire lawn did, but especially back here in the back. It stayed very consistent, and didn't have a lot of disease pressure back here. You will see in one area that I did show earlier in the season where I was not treating it due to it being right beside my garden bed. And I did have some disease pressure creep in. So it goes to show me that the program that I am using is working. And the backyard is typically a late bloomer in the fall. It really doesn't really start to thrive until around next Thanksgiving time, just before Thanksgiving. And this year was no different. It did the exact same thing. I really think it's because this area back here is heavily shaded, and until the leaves start to fall off the trees, and also the sun pattern changes, it starts to get more sunlight, and then it is able to perform a lot better after that aeration or overseeding that I did. So this year, no aeration back here. I did the same thing that I did in the front yard. I went down with a light overseeding on it, fertilization, and I did a power rake on it with the Sunjo, and this is it. No aeration was done back here. It looks good, And I did introduce using a PGR throughout the entire lawn, but I think that strategy actually really helped back here in the back, especially in the fall after the overseeding. And the reason I say that is because it seems that the backyard doesn't do well with a lot of foot traffic. Using the PGR, it allowed me to stay off of it for longer periods of time and just let it establish itself. So next year I'll talk about PGRs a little bit more, just my experience with them. And hey man, I'm enjoying these results right here in December. And yeah, it's been a good year. I want to say thank you to everybody that has been subscribing and following along. Thank you to my new subscribers, and also thank you for my OGs that have been supporting the channel, supporting me, supporting the Workin team over the past couple of years. I really enjoy this. The Workin team, we really enjoy this, and we want our community to grow with us. We're going into the winter time. Evaluate your season. See what worked, see what didn't. Develop a plan of attack for those things that didn't work out too well. And make sure that you're getting ready for next season. Do some learning this winter. Make sure you get in there, learn something that you didn't know before, and try to address those problems that you had this year. So once again, we've come to the end of another season. We'll be back next season. I'll be learning some stuff and trying to implement something new into the program. But we're trying to stay consistent and make sure we get these same results again next year. So the Workin team, Elevated Lawnscapes, we want to say thank you. Y'all have a good off season. Enjoy it, because I know I am. And just know, we working.